Back again. Kenny's back. Tell a friend. Oh, hi. Welcome back to the next edition of Monday Night
Live.
Yes.
Yeah. So he missed last week. I did a live on my page for those of you who followed me, but it feels like we haven't done this in a really long time.
I know. I'm so happy to be back in Greenbow, Alabama. Actually, not Holiday, Tennessee.
You are happy to be back.
I am very happy to be back. I've been playing with Beckett all day, playing with Neisha all day. Get over here closer to me.
Sorry.
There you go. That's better. That's more better.
Well,
hey guys.
On top of you.
I know. What's wrong with that? You got a problem?
Where is everyone watching from? We got Aaron from Dallas.
Hey, Gemma. Hey, Julie, Cindy. I love it. I am back. Hey, if you don't know this, on Facebook, you can do something called Start a Watch Party. You just click that button and you can invite all your friends to watch this with you. So all of your friends who need to know about keto, fasting, carnivore, low carb, ketovore, click the watch party button on Facebook right now. And on YouTube, you can just click the share button and share it all over the place. Who eat, improve health, and she did great. I watched it.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
Yeah.
So supportive.
On replay. I didn't know you were doing it, so then I found it.
Right.
North Carolina,
I couldn't get a hold of you to tell you.
Alberta, Florida, Texas. I love it. Ooh, Crumbling Furnace. Hey, neighbor. How you doing, Michael?
So many places.
Australia, Arizona. I love it.
Okay. So do you want to fill anybody in on what's been going on?
I was out of pocket last week. I was in Costa Rica, just outside San Jose. If you've ever been there, it's one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to. I was filming a television series with the producer is Charles Maddox, who's now a good friend of mine, a great guy. He's already reversed his type 2 diabetes, and the entire show is called Reversed. And it's about reversing your type 2 diabetes with a low carb or a keto or a carnivore diet, plus intermittent fasting. And so we were down there for 7 days. We had 3 house guests who currently have type 2 diabetes, but they're not going to have it for long. And we were helping them understand the low carb, keto, intermittent fasting, how you can use that to just reverse your type 2 diabetes. And I had a great time down there. I missed this one terribly. I miss Beckett. A little bit. He's okay.
Yeah.
He still poops his pants and stuff. But he's pretty cool.
We're working on that though.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Ricky, thanks for the super chat, man.
Yeah, let's see what's up with Ricky. All right. Ricky says, love y'all from Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Hello, Texas. I've been strict carnivore for 3 months and my blood work is perfect, but my weight won't budge. I'm 46, 6'2", 270. Down to a 38-inch waist. Any ideas? I'm also fasting about 16 hours a day.
You're doing so many things right, Ricky, and you're gleaning many health benefits from what you're doing. What I would say to do is, did he say he was carnivore?
For 3 months.
For 3 months, yeah. Mm-hmm. I would look very carefully for carb creep. I would look at every sauce, every spice, everything you put on your meat or put your meat in. I would look for hidden carbs. Number one. Number two, I would go see your doctor and get a free and total testosterone check. Because if your testosterone is too low, your weight loss is going to be glacially slow. I would also increase the fasting from 16 hours a day up to 18 or 20 hours a day. And one of those things is going to install the weight loss. I also have a YouTube video about the 13 reasons why you might stall on keto or carnivore. Go watch that video and make sure you're doing all those things right. But those are the 3 big things that pop out.
Also, dairy sometimes for some people, even if they're strict carnivore, if you're eating a lot of cheese, that can hold you
100%.
back.
Slow it down.
Carrie says, do strict carnivores need to supplement with vitamin C?
That's a great question, Carrie. And currently, I think the answer is no. Fresh meat actually has vitamin C in it, and liver has lots of vitamin C in it. That's the first thing you need to understand. Even though when you look up meat, it says 0 vitamin C, that's not true at all. It doesn't have a ton of vitamin C, but it absolutely has vitamin C in fresh meat. Number 2, it looks like that glucose and vitamin C they use the same type of transporter to get inside your cell. So if you're eating a high carb diet, you need to probably take a vitamin C supplement. But if you're eating a very, very low carbohydrate diet, then especially if you're keto, you're getting plenty of vitamin C, and you're also able to absorb and use that vitamin C. But there are tens of thousands of 100% carnivores out there in the world, and none of them get scurvy. And so they must somehow be getting enough vitamin C in their diet.
This kind of piggybacks on the question that you just answered. So what is your advice for anyone with low testosterone?
Foxnema.
Yeah.
Foxnema. So yeah, you may have low testosterone. Sometimes keto or carnivore will drastically improve your testosterone numbers for both men and women. Sometimes you have to get it, you have to use bioidentical hormones to get your testosterone optimized. Go have your free and total testosterone checked. And then also I've got a number of videos on my YouTube channel about how to raise your testosterone and what to do about it.
Crystal's an OG. She's been around a long time. So we're going to see what Crystal's been up to. So she says, hey, y'all, been doing keto since diagnosed with severe RA. I've just now got diagnosed with Raynaud's. Any tips?
Yeah, first of all, autoimmune diseases, they travel in packs. If you've got one, then I think you're 4 times more likely to have another. And it's probably not that you just develop Raynaud's. You probably had it for a while and the doctors just caught it. You need to be eating as clean keto or carnivore. You're keto. Yeah, you need to be as clean keto as you can. I would really try to avoid any of the keto products. You need to be eating things that do not have an ingredient label, like meat and veg. That needs to be your keto.
Oh, brother said, can you please spread the word about the different types of magnesium and potassium? Magnesium that doesn't cause diarrhea for those dehydrated on carnivore. Citrate is not for everyone.
I totally agree. Yeah. For many people, magnesium citrate will lead to loosening of the bowels. There are many colloquialisms for this, the backdoor trots, the right, the green apple squirts, disaster pants. But so magnesium glycinate for most people is a good option. It does not cause the bowel symptoms. Magnesium thionate's another good one. Most of the time, if you just back up on how much magnesium you're taking, the diarrhea will subside and go away.
Okay.
Hey, Neil from England.
Charlene says, my doctor doesn't like keto. What do I do?
Well, Charlene, you just first of all realize that keto, what does that mean? It means meat and veg. Since when did people start thinking that eating meat and vegetables was unhealthy? Just think about that. That's foolish, just in a common sense perspective. So your doctor doesn't want you to eat meat and vegetables, which human beings have been eating for 250,000 years. I would ask my doctor that point blank in a respectful way. What do you have against meat and vegetables? How's that bad? Humans have always eaten that. What should I eat instead? And then maybe if you get a emotional, condescending answer from your doctor, I might look for a new doctor.
Linda, I've seen lots of blogs where ladies are drinking ketones. Is this necessary?
Great question. So those are called exogenous ketones. And the ketones that your body makes when you're really in ketosis are endogenous ketones. So I'm a big fan of endogenous ketones, which are the ones you make. I'm not a big fan at all of exogenous ketones for just healthy, normal people. Now, if you have a loved one who has advanced dementia, Alzheimer's, or vascular dementia, then you might not be able to get them to eat a keto diet without causing drama. So then exogenous ketones would be a way to do it. But even for most people like that, you can get them to use keto chows, shakes, or soups, and be able to get enough fat in them that they can make their own ketones. But as far as buying exogenous ketones, that is absolutely not required on a ketogenic diet. And I think it's unnecessary and a waste of money.
Spend that money on food.
Yes.
Rebecca, we need to give a shout out to Rebecca. She's no longer diabetic. Her A1C is 4.9 after only 8 months on keto, and she's down 80 pounds and off 5 prescriptions.
What a gal. That's what I'm talking about. Now,
awesome.
So Rebecca has reversed her type 2 diabetes with keto. And there you go. There's thousands of people that are reaching out to us saying they've reversed their type 2 diabetes. It's entirely doable. It's possible. All you got to do is cut the carbs down, lower and lower and lower until you get a normal A1C.
Dorian wants to know if you have a CGM.
I have had a CGM in the past, and I think
we both have.
Yeah, I think they're very, very useful when you're first starting out with this way of eating. But after a few months, you pretty much know what to eat and what not to eat. And then, but now some people love to track data, and I'm not one of those people. So I don't have one anymore, but a lot of people love their CGM. And I think that every type 1 and type 2 diabetic, everyone with pre-diabetes or metabolic syndrome, you absolutely need to demand an order or a prescription for a CGM from your doctor. A CGM stands for continuous glucose monitor. You may have seen those little circles on people's arms. That's what that is. And that will give you so much information about what your food is doing to your blood sugar.
Valerie says, why do we need electrolytes on Carnivore? I'm 4 weeks in today. Today, I wanted to eat salty butter.
Yeah, if you want to eat salty butter, eat it. So all humans need electrolytes. When you're eating a high carbohydrate diet, you hold a lot of extra fluid in your body. When you go keto or carnivore, you're going to urinate away that excess fluid. The way the human kidney works is electrolytes have to go with that fluid. And so we have to find sources of electrolytes currently in modern society, whereas our ancestors drank river water, mud puddle water, and they consumed a ton of organs, and they probably also used the blood in their meals, which are all that's very, very high in electrolytes. I don't recommend drinking river water now because the rivers are usually polluted. So we use an electrolyte supplement instead.
Mike says, can you discuss
xanthelasma?
I always have a problem with that. I have it on both of my eyes and high LDL. Is this a bad sign?
Yeah, and so the doctors will tell you that xanthelasma is caused by having high LDL. What I would tell you is that it's caused by having a high LDL and high insulin. Okay, insulin is a growth hormone. It makes things grow inappropriately, like skin tags, like acanthosis nigricans, like the dark knuckles that you get when you have metabolic syndrome.
The dark skin under your arm.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and then also lipomas and other things are going to grow more, and it's not because you're eating high fat; it's because your insulin's still high. So when you eat low carbohydrate enough to get your insulin under control, we've had multiple people reach out and say their xanthelasma is just totally reabsorbed. It went away.
Wright family says, what foods helped you produce more milk for your baby? I ate Ketovore. Actually, I ate Carnivore right after I had the baby, and then went to Ketovore, which is mostly meat, but a little veg every now and then. But what boosts your milk supply more than any food, and I mean like meat, or those stupid cookies in the breastfeeding aisle.
Please don't buy those.
Is being skin to skin with your baby, interacting with your baby like this, holding the baby, loving on the baby, and nursing breast to baby, not pumping. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't pump ever, but in the first month, it's really good to nurse. Absolutely. And then you can start pumping, which is totally fine. I hated pumping, but some women love it and really excel at it. I was not a good pumper. Yep. And make sure you're getting hydrated. Your body should be able to tell you when you're thirsty. Yep. I never had to force water down my throat. I was always thirsty. Yep. And lots of electrolytes, but especially salt, seems to really help supply. But really the main thing is being close to that baby, and that's what stimulates the hormone, which stimulates the milk supply.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, if you guys hear us answer a question that you know a friend or loved one's got, share this video with them and say, hey, you need to start watching it at like 13 minutes in or whatever. And that way we can answer their question without having to go to their house and knock on the door and say, hey, I heard you had a question.
Oh, Sam. Sam has a super chat question. Day 4 of Ketovore, and my blue veins have become much more noticeable in my arms and legs. I'm already thin, so no weight loss. Yeah. Any insight to why this is happening?
Yeah, a lot of times you can have fat around your veins, and Neisha has noticed this as she was more and more Ketovore carnivore. Her veins, which used to, I would have hated to start an IV on her. Yeah. She had tiny little hidden veins, and now her veins are quite prominent. Yeah, and that's very common. And I think that's the way we're supposed to look. So that's actually a sign that you're moving in the right direction, Sam.
This is a good question from Nate. Is heavy whipping cream a good way to add calories to gain weight on carnivore if you're somebody who's wanting to gain weight?
Yeah, actually, if you're just strict carnivore, adding a lot of heavy cream might help you gain a little weight. But what I suspect you're wanting to do, Nate, is add, I don't think you're wanting to gain fat. You're wanting to gain muscle. And the way to do that is to eat your meat and lift heavy weights. If you just want to gain fat, though, heavy cream might help a little. But if you really want to just gain fat, I would just start drinking skim milk. That will fatten you up super quick.
Michael's got one of these questions that we get constantly, and our opinion is a bit controversial, so we're going to go here. Yeah. Michael says, is it a requirement to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight / fat on Ketovore?
Yeah. My answer to that would be, Michael, if you're eating a proper human diet, which is Ketovore, Carnivore, Keto, you don't have to worry about counting calories. Your body is going to keep the percentage of stored body fat that you need to ancestrally be healthy, and it's going to burn all the rest off. If you're holding too much stored fat, that means you're eating too many carbohydrates and have been doing so for a while. If you want to count calories, you can, but tens of thousands of people find that it's completely unnecessary to count or track calories on keto, ketovore, carnivore. It's just not necessary. But if you like the busy work, I mean, have at it.
We get so much kickback over saying that when we say it. However, if you will go to Dr. Jason Fung's channel, who is, he is just great, okay? He has 2 or 3 videos on calories and why counting them is a waste of your time, and really goes in depth about it. And for some reason, when he says it, it's okay. So go over there and check out those videos and reference that, because if you say Dr. Berry and Neisha say that, then they're going to be like, they don't know what they're talking about. So,
but counting calories is a stupid waste of time. If you want to lose weight, you count your carbohydrates and reduce them very, very, very much. Oh,
I'm going to attempt this name. Neitria? Probably said that wrong. Would you share your opinion on Naaman's PE plan and Professor Noakes' banting, both so different, and what you might recommend for endurance racing and cycling?
Yeah. So first of all, they're not that different. All 3 of us recommend that you eat a very low carbohydrate diet. Dr. Naaman, who I respect greatly, his keto version is basically a high protein, moderate fat, very, very low carbohydrate diet. And for some people that works great. Other people like to have a high fat, moderate protein, very, very low carbohydrate diet. Either one is fine. You can try either one. If you do either one and lose weight, then I win, and so do you. Professor Noakes, his banting is also very, very low carbohydrate. So that's the key, and that's also what all 3 of us espouse, is very, very low carbohydrate diets. And so you've only got 2 other macros to fill in with, either protein or fat. You get to choose whether it's high fat or high protein. Was there something else in that question? I think that's it.
I think you covered it. A shout out to Jamie. Thanks for the super chat. Intermittent fasting and keto success, down 105 pounds and 3 waist sizes. Psoriasis cleared up in 6 months. Happy dance. Thank you guys for all you do. You are a godsend in my time of need.
I want to talk about this right here with Joe.
I think that Joe's being funny.
Hey, Joe. Here's the thing, Joe. The second law of thermodynamics, which you're referencing, it applies to a closed system.
Couldn't let it go.
Joe, no. And because I want Joe to understand. Nobody's saying that we're going to break the laws of thermodynamics. What we're saying, Joe, is that the human body is an open system. See how my skin is open to the air right now? Air molecules can transfer heat. So my body temperature actually matters. And I'm sitting on a bench, and that's a different temperature than my butt. So that also, see how we're not a closed system. So go back again, Joe, and read the entire second law of thermodynamics. See the word closed system. And then realize, oh, human beings, we're out in the atmosphere. We're not in a closed system. And then you'll understand what we're talking about. Joe's trying. He missed that one key word. Thanks, Joe, for the comment.
And Monday says, I'm 54, have an autoimmune malfunction, POTS, mast cell response, and autoimmune issues. No gallbladder. Can't lose weight. Need to lose 50 pounds. I eat Ketovore. Less than 20 carbs or less. Any ideas?
With all the autoimmune issues, Amundi, I would probably say you need to try a 90-day trial of Carnivore. and see if you can't calm down your immune system. The carnivore diet is the ultimate elimination diet. You can eat as much meat as you want. You can eat liver, you can eat butter. Some people can eat cheese, but for you, I would just say beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for 90 days and see how your conditions are doing. I also predict you'll lose some weight in that time.
Julie Farmer has a fantastic question. A lot of people and ideas are being canceled. Do you think there would be a push for limiting, demonizing keto, carnivore, and fasting? And what should we do if that happens?
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. I think that keto and carnivore are catching on so quickly. And basically, this whole movement has been spreading by word of mouth. Where did you hear about this, Julie? You probably heard about it from a friend or a family member. And so if we all continue to share our success on keto or carnivore and fasting with our family and our friends, it's really kind of impossible to stop it. But at some point, when we really are cutting into the profits of Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Mondelez and General Mills, they're 100% going to start paying marketing companies and big ad companies to start hammering us. That's going to happen. But if you've already shown your entire family and friend circle your amazing success, they're going to ignore the fake news that Pepsi and Coke and all those guys put out. And so we just got to keep sharing it with our family and friends. That's all you got to do.
David says, hey folks, I've been intermittent fasting since 2019 in November, 12% body fat. I want to cut carbs a bit, but all my carbs are fibrous and non-refined. How do I drop 5 to 10 pounds? I work out 4 times a week.
Yep. So you need to cut the carbs some more. I'm sorry. I understand your fiber issue. And if you're eating real whole vegetables, then that fiber really is fiber. But most people can break down at least some of that fiber into carbohydrate energy. Not all of it, but some of it. And so I would recommend you go ahead and cut the carbs more. And then also, as Neisha hinted at earlier, you might want to try a month with no dairy except for butter and ghee, because for many people, cheese and cream will slow down their weight loss.
Yo Link, what do you think of a high carb, lower fat, moderate protein diet, all carbs being high quality like sweet potatoes?
I think that that's a much better diet than the standard American diet.
That's basically paleo.
That's paleo. Yeah, that's me and Neisha and I, we did that for a year or two.
That's longer than a year.
Yeah, a couple of years. And I think it's a much more natural diet. I think it's more ancestrally appropriate than the standard American crap diet. But I didn't notice any results from it at all. Maybe a little. I lost a little weight, but Neisha didn't have any improvement in Hashimoto's or anything. She was just stuck with that. And so I think that when you look at the paleoanthropology, we definitely ate tubers if we could find them 200,000 years ago, but we couldn't find them very often. What we could find every day was animal meat to eat. And so that's why I think that for almost all of us, a low carbohydrate diet that doesn't include tubers that grow into the ground is just going to give you better results. But I think it's a natural diet, and I think you'll probably have way less disease and autoimmune issues on that diet, but it's still too high carb for most of us to lose weight and reach our maximum health.
Abra Vicious. They want me on a low salt, low fat diet because it's heart healthy. Should I ignore that and stick with keto? Will that help whatever is wrong with my heart? Well,
yeah. So obviously none of this is medical advice, but if I were you, Abra, I would just ask my doctor, could you show me the research that shows that a low fat, low salt diet is going to help my heart? Show me that research real quick, because there's none that shows that. And then you can say, well, okay, human beings have been eating a high fat, high salt diet for 200,000 years. How is my condition different than all those other humans who have eaten that? And as a friend, I would counsel you, you need to eat keto.
Karen says, I tried carnivore for 2 weeks and I was really constipated. What can help with this?
So Karen, I would love to be able to ask you about 5 more questions about your constipation, because what people notice when they eat carnivore is that meat is 100% nutrition. And so you notice that you're not pooping nearly as much and you don't poop nearly as often. And a lot of people misinterpret that as being constipated. That's not constipation. Constipation is when you're having pain, when you're straining, when you're having rectal bleeding, when you're pooping. That's what constipation is. But since meat is 100% nutrition, you don't have any garbage to poop out. And so your poop is going to decrease by 80, 90%. And that's because your body is digesting all of the meat. And so I would opine that you weren't constipated. You were just absorbing all the nutrition.
Opine. You're so fancy. Zaina, what's the best diet for Hashimoto's?
Well, my beautiful wife, Neisha, has Hashimoto's, and I'm going to let her answer that.
Yes. I can't say that this will work for everybody. I can only say that it works for me. I feel my best on carnivore, but it's not sustainable for me yet because I still like to eat a little veg every now and then. So I'm ketovore, and I have videos on my YouTube channel if you're going to go watch and see what ketovore is. Long and short, I eat mostly meat and veg like maybe 2 or 3 days a week. And I have a lot of people following me with Hashimoto's now since I do all these videos where I have Hashimoto's and I eat this way and I'm off medications. Not that everybody will have that success, and I'll probably be back on meds at some point. And they try eating the way that I eat and they see a lot of success. A lot of women going carnivore also seeing a lot of success with their antibodies being lowered and more importantly, signs and symptoms going away, because Hashimoto's, if you don't know, it's pretty awful. And there's lots of really annoying things, and it can change your personality. It changes a lot of things, and your quality of life basically goes down the crapper. So I would say give ketovore a try, and if you can, carnivore, and make sure you get your labs done prior to doing that so you can see how they change eating that way, and also document how you feel, because that's very important. And you'll come up with a list of foods that you know if you eat them, your symptoms are going to flare up. Right. Because not everything that's keto friendly is Neisha Hashimoto's friendly. And that takes some time, effort, and experimentation to see how things affect you personally, because we're all different. So. Absolutely. Samantha says, hey guys, recently diagnosed with frequent PACs and PVCs and possible SVT episodes. Tests show a healthy heart. Doctors look at me like I'm nuts. Do you have any advice? Yeah, you need to eat the proper human diet. You definitely follow up with your cardiologist and let them do any testing they think will help with the ultimate diagnosis. But until they come up with a diagnosis, you need to be eating a proper human diet. There's no doubt about that. Minette says, what do you recommend carnivores, mints, gum, or breath freshener? Let's talk about that. That's a good question, Eminent One. Body odor, breath, armpits, poop. Let's talk about all that. Because I think what we've found, and we've heard from thousands of other carnivores, the same exact thing. Talk about that. You're a woman. Women typically care more about someone's breath and armpits and butt smell. Well, I don't feel like you need anything. And we're around a lot of carnivores, and I've never been like, whoa, that's offensive. Yeah. And this really sounds woo-woo when we say this, but when you're eating a carnivore diet, you just don't have bad breath. And like my armpit odor has decreased 80, 90%. And like Neisha and I can't even tell when one or the other snuck off and took a poop, because there's literally, used to, I would stink up the whole house. Let's just get real here. Used to, literally, if I went to the bathroom, the whole house, you would just have to open all the doors, back when I was eating paleo and the standard American diet. But on carnivore, tell them the truth. You don't even know when I go, do you? It's like he doesn't fart anymore either. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. If it does, I don't know about it. Yeah, there's just no smell. And if anybody's eating carnivore and you've noticed the same thing, put it in the comments, because it's kind of magical, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense, because you're not feeding the gut bacteria that make the offensive odor. It's basically methane and sulfur. And then your armpits are populated by millions, if not billions, of bacteria. And if you're not eating the sugar, it's basically you repopulate your entire body inside and out, including your mouth, with happy, healthy, friendly bacteria. And they just don't make those god-awful odors of death that used to come out of your body orifices. You just smell better. This is why you watch Facebook Lives. There you go. Or YouTube Lives. We're going to tell it like it is. Moshi. I'm 5'11". Wow, tall. 41 BMI. 41 BMI. I've been hiking on gentle hills for weight-bearing exercises. Is there a BMI I should be before jogging? Excellent question. So, Moshi, for many people who are morbidly obese,
as far as like jogging or any kind of impact, like you're too heavy right now. Okay. And so keep doing your daily walking, because you're never going to hurt yourself walking, but you got to lower the carbs down. And once you've lost down, I would say to a BMI of 35-ish somewhere. And that's going to be different for everybody, depending on how much muscle you hold, how strong and dense your bones are. But yeah, that's too big. That's too high of a BMI for you to be jogging right now. You will blow out a knee cartilage or something.
And listen to your body when you do start jogging, because just because you're at a certain BMI doesn't mean that your body is going to react to it well. So listen to the feedback. And if it hurts, then, slow down. And it's not.
Because most people watch.
Competition.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a race. Most people watching us know that already, that exercise is not going to help you lose any meaningful amount of weight, but exercise is very, very good for you for a million different reasons. So I want you to be active in exercise. Maybe get some hand weights and start lifting those. But I mean, if you're trying to jog, when that weight comes down on that knee, it's going to be multiplied because of the forces. You can't jog right now yet. Yeah, until you're at least a BMI of 35 or lower.
Especially on asphalt.
Oh my God, yes. Maybe on a treadmill, sorry.
So since we're, on the poop wagon tonight, Lisa wants to know, what's the deal with no bowel movements or going several days without pooping? Yeah,
it's very common for carnivores because meat is 100% nutrition. And so we're told that, vegetables are superfood, and they're good for you. For most people, they're good for you. But just take a pound of broccoli, okay? Probably out of that pound, if you eat that entire pound, half of that is fiber that you can't digest. And so you're going to make a half pound of poop. That's just the fact of it, right? But when you eat a pound of ground beef, you're going to absorb and use every single bit of nutrition in there. And so really all a carnivore is pooping out is the tiny bit, the maybe half an ounce of ground beef that you can't absorb. And then all of the cells that slough off inside your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach, your intestines, when the cells die, they're going to slough off. And so really all a carnivore poops is the tiny bit that can't be absorbed, and then the skin cells, and then the bacteria that make up your gut microbiome. When they die, you got to poop them out too. And so that's why some carnivores only poop once every third day.
All right. Charles says, what about fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut for the probiotics? How do we get that on a carnivore or ketovore diet?
It's a great question. It's going to take me a minute to answer it. Okay. So don't be bumping me.
We've got a lot of you are sending us super chats, which that's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
But they go away if it takes too much time.
I'm trying to hurry. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, I love kimchi and I love sauerkraut, but research is showing that you're not getting any meaningful change in your gut biota from eating them. Okay. I think they're fine for you, and I think they're way less bad if they're fermented. You can probably get to the nutrition. But as far as changing your actual gut microbes, the research looks like it barely changes it, if at all. Okay. And that goes for kefir and real yogurt and all those things. I think they're fine for you, but even taking a probiotic that you're paying an exorbitant amount for, it's not really changing your gut bacteria. But most people notice when they start eating lots of fatty meat and even going carnivore, both Siobhan Huggins, a good friend of ours, and me, we've had our gut bacteria actually tested where you send off a poop sample, and our gut bacteria is more diverse than 95% of other people who have sent their tests in. So if what you're looking for is a diverse gut, a diverse, healthy microbiome, you need to eat more meat. It's like all that takes care of itself. Isn't that cool? Just eat your meat and that's going to fix itself. You don't have to worry about, I need to put bacteria into, no, you don't. Your body's got that part of it too. Sorry.
Okay, Scott says, I take magnesium, but I get terrible insomnia with keto. I'm down to only 1 hour a night.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they start eating, they have so much energy with keto, ketovore, carnivore that they can't sleep for a while. It's very common, Scott. You can take up to 1,200 milligrams of magnesium a day. The way you know you're taking too much magnesium if you start to get diarrhea. And so I would get magnesium threonate or magnesium glycinate and take that before bedtime. Scott may be over 40. I'm looking at your picture. You might want to add 3 milligrams of melatonin. Maybe not every night, but just every now and then. But for most people, after they keto for a while, their energy level calms down and they're able to get to sleep.
Elora, very pretty name.
Hey, Elora, I like
I
that.
had 3 gallstones removed.
Elora Berry.
Oh my God. You know how many people have asked me if I'm pregnant this week? I had 3 gallstones removed from a duct. Doctor wants me to have my gallbladder out. I'm starting to eat keto. Can I keep my gallbladder?
100%. I love it that they removed your gallstones. Probably that was from your common bile duct. They were able to do an ERCP and get them out. Keep your gallbladder. And now if you might still have some more stones in your bladder, in the gallbladder, but a lot of people eating keto and carnivore it's been documented that their gallstones get smaller, they shrink, because you're actually causing your gallbladder to contract now because you're eating fat. And I would wait. Now, if you start having ungodly 10 out of 10 right upper belly pain, or you start having fever, or you start just, throwing up bile, those are the reasons you would have your gallbladder taken out. You never, ever have a body part of any kind preemptively taken out because of what might happen in the past. Because now that you're eating the proper human diet, you're probably not ever going to have another gallbladder attack.
John, we're going to take this question because I feel like it's important, and there seems to be some newbies. If you're new, by the way, put it in the comments.
Yeah, say new in the comments.
John says, do we need to eat grass-fed, grass-finished meat, or can we consider meat from the market?
You can eat any meat that you can afford. Now, if you can afford grass-fed, grass-finished, panda massage meat, then by all means buy that. It's probably 1 or 2% healthier for you, but also you're stimulating that market. So maybe they'll grow more grass-fed, grass-finished panda massage meat, and then other people can afford it because they can lower their prices, right? But for the average person, you can do keto or carnivore perfectly fine with eating the cheapest meat at the market, okay? And my friend Rob Wolf wrote a book called The Sacred Cow, and they actually talk about this. The research shows that grass-fed, grass-finished is a tiny bit more healthier. It's not this black and white day or night thing that some of the people out there make it out to be. It's 1% better. So if it's 1% better and costs twice as much, no, I'm not.
Especially if you just can't afford that.
Yeah, if you can't afford that, don't think, oh, I can't do carnivore or keto. You 100% can do keto with hot dogs and bologna and potted meat and Spam and all that other stuff.
I will say Aldi has grass-fed meat, so check that out because it's much more economical. Audra.
Hey, Audra.
There you are. I had inflation of the optic nerve. It caused nerve damage. Will fasting and carnivore help the nerve damage?
Maybe. So inflammation of the optic nerve is a bad thing. The optic nerve is actually an extension of your brain, as is your retina at the back of your eye. And so it's made of neurons, and neurons are notoriously very, very slow to regenerate and renew. It does happen, but it's very, very slow. So I would 100% recommend that you do carnivore with some daily intermittent fasting. But it might take 3, 6, 9, 12 months. If the damage is going to reverse, it's going to take a minute. But if any diet is going to encourage that to happen, it's ketovore or carnivore, 100%.
Let's share Sarah's story because this is awesome. She has a spongy kidney disease with years of brutal renal stones. Been carnivore for 2 years, and the last CT she had, there were no stones in either kidney.
Wow.
What a relief and peace of mind.
Yeah, so everybody out there, if you're afraid that eating too much meat is going to cause kidney stones, look at Sarah's story. I've got a YouTube video about kidney stones. It's not caused by eating meat. That's a myth, and Sarah is living proof of that.
And any kidney issues, actually, it's not
caused by eating meat. Yeah, right. Meat is good for your kidneys. Eating meat is not bad for your kidneys. I have to say it both ways, so I hit both audiences.
Right. The gist of bliss. I experienced AFib after starting carnivore. Are they related?
Probably coincidental. Many people with existing atrial fibrillation, when they go keto or carnivore, it gets so much better that they don't even have to take medication for it anymore. So sounds like you just rolled an unlucky set of dice there. I would keto or carnivore on, but obviously follow your doctor's advice about medication, but listen to your body when it comes to diet advice.
Sherry says, Does keto help prevent glaucoma?
Yep. And there's actually quite a bit of research about glaucoma and hyperinsulinemia. The more hyperinsulinemic you are, the more likely you are to develop glaucoma. And what causes your insulin to be chronically high? Eating too many carbohydrates. And so therefore, if you're eating keto, ketovore, carnivore, in fasting, you're not going to be eating nearly as many carbohydrates. Therefore, your insulin level is going to stay much lower. Therefore, just to inductive logic, you're going to have less of a chance of developing glaucoma.
All right. Kitty says, what are your thoughts on nutritional yeast?
Yeah, I think nutritional yeast is completely unnecessary.
This is a big thing. We could ask about that a lot.
If you're eating a proper human diet, you do not need to ingest any yeast.
All right. Tiffany says, I am 31 days in with keto, trying to shrink my over 10 centimeter fibroid. Any more suggestions to help us shrink?
Yeah. So first of all, a 10 centimeter fibroid, that's big, and you're probably having some abnormal uterine bleeding from that. But unless you're severely anemic, that's not dangerous. That is not a reason to have your uterus taken out. I would give keto or ketovore or carnivore at least a 6 months try to see if you can't, because once you've shrunk it enough, it'll quit causing that bleeding. And you may be having some cramping and pain. All those symptoms will get better and go away as the fibroid shrinks. Give it 6 months and see, and then let them rescan.
25 Kim says, can I drink exogenous ketones? OS.
Yeah, I think that's a brand.
Oh, okay. To boost my keto diet.
Yeah. So it's a great question, 25 Kim T. But no, there is no magic that you can do. A ketogenic way of eating is part of a proper human diet. So what you're doing when you actually eat keto is you're feeding your body the nutrition it needs, and you're leaving out all of the slow poisons and all of the inflammatory things that are in a standard American diet. So just drinking some ketones or taking ketone capsules, I know you're looking for a shortcut, but for actual real meaningful health, there ain't no shortcuts. You just eat the proper human diet.
And it doesn't really, like, if you do them and you don't do them, there's not a big difference. If you're eating real keto and not a whole bunch of products loaded up on sweeteners and shoving in those fat bombs, that kind of thing, then you're going to see the same results without spending all that money, because they're really pricey.
They're really pricey, and they're a complete waste of money. Good question. Thanks for that.
Hang on. I'm behind here. Somebody told me to smile.
Smile.
I think this is it. Okay. Ryan says, today was my first day using Keto Chow Daily Minerals. Is hyperkalemia possible when taking too much? I've heard you say that you'll pee out excess, but is that always the case?
Well, first of all, if you're taking the recommended dose of the daily minerals, you're not going to be getting too much potassium. Secondly, if you have normal kidney function and your doctor can check lab work and verify that you do, then it's virtually impossible to get too much potassium from your diet and from daily minerals to ever cause hyperkalemia. Now, if you don't have normal kidney function, if you have some level of CKD, then you probably need to count how much potassium you're getting in your diet every day.
Or some medications also interfere with potassium. So if you're on anything that you think may interfere, honestly, anytime you start anything like this, check with your doctor and say, is this going to interfere with my medications?
Exactly. But if you have normal kidney function and you're not on any medications, you would have to literally go out of your way trying hard to become hyperkalemic with daily minerals and keto. Declan's
going to share his story. Keto helped him shed depression. I haven't felt so good in such a long time. Hello from Dublin.
I love that. Go, now, we don't talk about mental health enough, but we get this kind of message.
About it a lot, more than we used to.
But I mean, I think we need to talk about it more, because we get this message that you guys see right here every day. I get somebody reaching out and saying, "Is keto good for depression? Because my depression's gone now that I'm on keto."
Depression, anxiety, bipolar, anorexia, bulimia.
ADD, oppositional defiant,
OCD,
Asperger's, autism. So if you have someone you care about who has mental health issues or has a diagnosis, please share this video with them, because seeing that one comment that was at the bottom of the screen could change their life.
Yeah, we hear this story all the time.
Yes.
Eloise, what can I do to help with MS? What kind of diet, and do I need to fast?
Yeah, Eloise, MS is autoimmune. and partially inflammatory. So when you eat a diet that's uninflammatory, that does not piss off your immune system, you're going to have less frequent flare-ups of your MS, and you're going to have less severe flare-ups and therefore less damage. So I would 100% recommend you eat a keto diet, a ketovore diet, or a carnivore diet, and absolutely do some degree of daily intermittent fasting. I'm not saying that if you do that, you're going to cure your MS. You've already got it, but you can decrease the severity of the flares and the frequency of the flares greatly by eating a proper human diet.
Char
Trucker
was 5'15". I'm not sure if they mean pounds, and had BPD.
Yes. And
gallbladder out. I'm 220 today. Been carnivore for 8 days, and the fat is going right through me. Should I be taking a supplement?
A good question. So most people, if they're carnivore for about 2 weeks, the diarrhea goes away. Now, if you continue to have diarrhea after 2 weeks, then you need to get on Amazon and buy an ox bile supplement. Since you don't have a gallbladder, your liver ducts may not be able to store enough bile to handle all the fat. But most people, after a month or two of taking the ox bile supplement, their liver has compensated enough that they can stop taking that and not have the diarrhea anymore.
Dapper Dave. I'm having bowel issues. Can you implement Xylem, Husk, or Metamucil on carnivore or keto to offset the lack of fiber?
Yeah, so most people there's like tens of thousands of people who are starting carnivore to get rid of their bowel issues. All the research shows that Xylem, Husk, and Metamucil, which are basically fake fibers, make gut symptoms worse, not better. And I know your doctor told you, Dapper Dave, that you need fiber in your diet to help with your bowel issues, but just go join one of the carnivore groups. There's Carnivore Principia, and there's Carnivore for Beginners. There's a ton of them, because most of those people are in there because they had irritable bowel or chronic constipation or Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, and carnivore cured that with no fiber. You don't need fiber for gut health. It's a myth.
Richard, giant cell arteries is the inflammation. Oh, arteritis, yeah. Is the inflammation here caused by the same causes as cardiovascular disease?
Yeah, good question, Richard. So yes, it's from inflammatory things in your diet and in your environment. When you start eating an uninflammatory diet like keto, ketovore, carnivore, you're going to notice that the inflammation gets better. Giant cell arteritis is a booger. I've had patients with it multiple times. We usually give you a big round of prednisone, and then sometimes we have to even do more immune modulating things. But I predict that your giant cell arteritis will calm right down when you start eating an uninflammatory, proper human diet.
Sherry says, is there anything that keto or carnivore can do to help with ALS?
So all of the neurological conditions, from dementia to ALS to Huntington's, all of these seem to get less severe when you're eating keto or carnivore. I'm not saying it's going to cure it, but I am saying that you're going to notice less frequent flare-ups. And when you do have a flare-up, it's going to be less severe. And many people have reported that the progression of ALS slows down, and the progression of Alzheimer's and other dementias slow down when you're eating a proper human diet. But always follow up with your doctor, Sherry.
Kaime. Not sure how to pronounce it.
Kaime.
I just purchased Keto Chow daily mineral drops. Also, their magnesium drops. Can I take them both on the same day? Yeah,
if you have normal kidney function and you're not taking any medications that mess with magnesium, I use the Keto Chow, their daily mineral drops. I put 5 drops, 10 drops in each drink I drink through the day, coffee, water, whatever. And then I take a full cap of their magnesium drops at bedtime. I feel like it helps me sleep a little bit better. It's by no means a knockout pill, so don't expect that. But it seems like I'm able to drift off a little easier when my magnesium is repleted with that.
It's Kim May, because her name's Kim.
Oh, Kim May. Kim May.
It's like, oh, duh. She put
Kim
her name in
May.
there.
Oh, okay. I get it.
It's like funny. Kim May. I used to spell my name Neisha, like your kneecap, because no one knows how to pronounce it.
If you've got a question, now's the time to type it into the comments.
Hey, Lisa Ann says, I get upset stomach when I eat steamed or fried mushrooms, but not when I eat other foods. Why?
maybe your stomach doesn't like mushrooms.
Yeah, you might be sensitive to them.
I mean, they're a fungus. I think most people can eat them, and I think they do contain some good nutrition for most of us. But I think there's probably a subset of people out there who don't do well with mushrooms.
Cindy, should I stop meat? I had high iron saturation, 55%, 39 while menstruating, total iron of 158, IBC 285, ferritin 147, HG 15.8, hemocratic was 46.
I would love to know if your doctor has diagnosed you with hemochromatosis or some other hematology condition. Meat is an ancestral food that every human being on this planet benefits from eating. Even if you have hemochromatosis, there are medical treatments for that, but not eating meat is terrible advice coming from any doctor and going towards any patient. Meat is required for optimal human health. I'm sorry to my vegan brothers and sisters, but you cannot have optimal health if you're not eating animal-based foods.
I jumped. Hang on. Haley Girl says, what company did you use to test your gut biome? Do you remember?
I cannot remember the name of it. No, I can't. I'll look it up, Haley Girl, and I'll post it. I cannot remember. There's 3 companies out there that are pretty trustworthy in doing it, but I can't remember I can't remember.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a year or 2.
At least a year, yeah. Zach, I've seen a few people ask this
Good
question. Are
Zach.
nitrites or nitrates in deli meat dangerous or unhealthy?
We were just talking about this on the Set of Reverse down in Costa Rica. So did you know, Zach, that there are more nitrates in celery juice, celery powder, and beet greens than there are in hot dogs? So is celery bad for you? Are beet greens? No, none of that. All that's false, Zach. That's a myth that some people put out there in the public space. I actually have a YouTube video about nitrates and eating processed meat and cured meats. Nitrates are not bad for you. That is a myth. Okay. A lot of the bacon out there that says uncured, nitrate free, they're able to legally put that on there because they use celery powder, which, like I told you earlier, is full of nitrates. But the federal government allows them to say nitrate free when actually their bacon has more nitrates than the kind that there's just regular bacon. So eat your bacon, eat your hot dogs, eat your bologna. Nitrates, nitrites have never been proven bad for human beings.
Now, that doesn't mean get the sugary kind of deli meat.
Watch the sugar, watch the carbs.
That's still important.
100%.
So get the best kind that you get. Boar's Head is usually pretty clean. You can order some online as well. Marcia says, is a mini trampoline helpful to protect joints for mild exercise for those of us over 65?
Good question, Marcia. So a mini trampoline is fun. You can put it right in front of the TV and go to town. And it is going to be good for your brain. It's going to be good for your heart. It's going to be good for lots of things. But what you need to make your bones stronger is to do lifting exercises where you do weight resistance. But then also when you go for a walk and your heel strikes the ground with each step, that actually strengthens the bones in your legs and in your hips and in your spine. So you want that. And the mini rebounder, it kind of takes away that abrupt stop where your foot hits the ground. But it looks like from the research that that's what's required to make your bones stronger. So enjoy your mini trampoline. Don't stop doing it because it's helping your brain and heart and other things. But you got to lift weights and you got to get out and walk on the ground in order to make your bones stronger.
James, I was born with essential tremors. I'm 47 now. Will Carnivore help? I do OMAD and Carnivore with 48-hour fast once a week. Yeah.
So probably, James, if Carnivore is going to decrease the magnitude of your essential tremor. So if you've read much about it, you know that every human being, any age, we all have an essential tremor, which testing can detect. But when you're young and healthy, you can't really notice it, right? It looks pretty stable, but you still have an essential tremor. But some people just genetically, their tremor is much more noticeable. And I'll bet you if you drink a glass of alcohol, your tremor gets much better. That's one way you can detect, is this an essential tremor or something else? But yeah, if you're eating keto, ketovore, carnivore, you should notice that the magnitude, how noticeable it is, gets better. just like any other neurological condition. But it's not going to cure your central tremor. We all have it, and you're still going to have yours, but it should be less noticeable.
A lot of the ladies are really in need of a menopause YouTube video, Dr. Berry.
Yes, I think I have one, don't I?
I don't think so.
Maybe not. I'll have to. Okay, yeah, because insulin resistance is very, very tightly related to having severe menopause symptoms. Now, when you're going through menopause, you're going to have some menopausal symptoms. That's just part of the show. But when you're eating keto or carnivore or anywhere in between, you're going to have less severe menopausal symptoms. Doesn't mean they're going to go away completely. Just means they're going to be less severe. And
ladies who are going through menopause and doing keto, leave your stuff, your stories.
Leave your story in the comments.
I know a lot of you have done it and have seen benefits. So make sure
Ink
you
Stamp
share.
Color needs to read your story. Put it in the comments.
Paul says, is there a point where insulin resistance is not reversible? I'm 330 pounds and kind of worried because I have insulin on high insulin on 100% carnivore.
Yeah. Now, Paul, have you had your fasting insulin and your C-peptide checked? If you have, and they're still very high on carnivore, then I would encourage you to go see your doctor and say, hey, doc, are you sure I don't have an insulinoma or some kind of insulin secreting tumor somewhere? Because that's another thing that can cause chronically high insulin, and you'll gain a ton of weight, and it's not your fault. You have a tumor that's secreting insulin somewhere in your body. But if you're eating real carnivore and your insulin's still super, super high and you can't lose weight, I would look for a tumor that's secreting insulin.
Sarah, newbie, welcome. I'm a recovering bulimic, and keto intermittent fasting has saved my life. People listen. However, I found out I can only eat a little amount of meat at a time because I have horrible acid reflux. Will it ever get better?
Yes. I had terrible acid reflux until I started eating all meat. 100% carnivore is what cured my reflux. But what I would encourage you to do, Sarah, is slowly but surely increase the percentage that meat makes up of your total daily diet as time goes on. And I think you'll notice that your reflux gets better and better and better. I know mine did, and thousands of other people.
But more importantly,
now let's talk about that. I've actually seen articles in magazines saying, oh, keto and fasting, that could cause an eating disorder.
Or trigger an eating disorder.
Right, but we keep hearing this right here all the time.
Yeah. So way to go. And please share your story.
Please. If anybody else has reversed an eating disorder with keto and fasting or carnivore, please put your story in the comments, because we hear it all the time. Keto and fasting doesn't cause eating disorders. It basically puts them in remission or reverses them or cures them, however you want to say it.
Thanks for sharing, Sarah.
Thank you for that, Sarah.
Joe wants to know, can he have black pepper on his steaks on carnivore because he puts a lot on there? Is that okay?
Yeah, I do. And it doesn't bother me. But now we have friends like Amber O'Hearn and Michaela Peterson who have to avoid pepper because it causes a flare-up of their autoimmune conditions.
If you're doing good on it, then no worries.
But if you're doing this just for weight loss and putting on muscle, then yes, I think pepper's fine.
James, I have started carnivore a month ago and have pain in the back of my calves. Can I use the electrolyte powder with leaky gut and autoimmune and still heal?
I don't know what berry electrolyte powder you're talking about.
I think he's talking about the Redmond's.
Okay. Yeah. So, and also, I don't know what you mean by pain in back of calves. Do you mean you're having muscle cramps, or do you just mean that your calves are sore? Or
because that's important.
That's an important distinction. So I can't. So let me just say this: if you have normal kidney function and you're not on any medications that mess with your electrolytes, then you can take the berry electrolyte powder, and it's definitely not gonna hurt your leaky gut or your autoimmune condition. They will still get better if you're eating lots of fatty meat plus or minus some veg.
As usual, none of this is medical advice.
That's right.
Consult with your doctor.
Yes.
I'm just blown away by Sarah's story. I'm so glad that you are watching, Sarah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah.
I'm so glad you found us.
And I thank you for not being shy about that, because a lot of people don't want to talk about eating disorders because people judge them. But thank you for being brave enough to share that. And anybody else out there, if you've recovered from an eating disorder by eating a proper human diet plus or minus fasting, please don't be shy. Please share your story in these comments. Start a Facebook page, because you remember what it was like suffering with an eating disorder.
Kelly has also reversed her binge eating with meat-based keto.
There you go. Anybody else? Put it in the comments, please. You could literally save somebody's life with an eating disorder by your one comment on this video. There's somebody who can't eat pepper. Yep. Some of us can't. Yeah. Some of us can.
Okay. That's time.
Janice, no, soy is not okay for men or women or babies or dogs or cats. Avoid soy.
That sounded weird, right?
That almost rhymes. Yeah. All right, I had to get that one in there. I just saw that go by.
Yeah.
There's Debbie. Debbie said compulsive eating disorder reversed. Yeah,
Linda.
There you go. I love it. There's Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah, binge eating disorder better. I'm just telling you guys, just give it a try. Yeah. Okay. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Please share this video with someone that you think it will help. That's how we reach new people, is by you sharing and commenting and saying, hey, you got to watch this doctor and nurse. They said that the condition that you suffer from every single day, it'll get better if you eat a proper human diet. Why not try a proper human diet for 90 days? I mean, it's a proper human diet. How dangerous could it be?
Say it one more time.
Proper human diet. Eat the proper human diet.
Thanks so much for all the super chats
tonight.
Thank you. Crazy. You guys are amazing. Yes. Everybody on Facebook for the stars, thumbs, likes. Make sure if you're on YouTube to hit that thumb, because you get up in the comments and then you forget to hit the thumb. So before you leave, hit the thumb.
Yes.
Hit the subscribe button on his channel and on mine.
And you're welcome to share this in any of your Facebook groups. We don't ever get mad when you do that. Some people get weird about that. Like, don't be putting that in that group. You can share this. You can share this anywhere. We love it when you do that.
Okay.
Thanks so much, guys. See you next week.
Next week, same place, same time.
Right here. Join us.
Loving me, Nettie. Bye.